Last Saturday, Crystal Palace shocked the football world as they beat Manchester City 1-0 to win the FA Cup final. Perhaps up there with the best result of the season, although Newcastle fans may have something to say about that. But anyway, today we're going to continue our series by looking at how teams qualified for Europe can look after the summer and then aims for next season. I really like this Palace team. I really like Oliver Glasner and what he's done over the last 18 months or so. And especially this season, after a pretty rough start, turned into the best of seasons really. But I do fear a little bit for this Palace side going into the summer. After Michael Olise left last summer, I think it's quite likely players such as Eberechi Eze, Mark Gay and Adam Wharton could leave this summer too. I'm also unsure of the situation of Tariq Mitchell, so if someone can let me know in the comments, that'd be great, as Transfer Market seems to say his deal runs out this summer, but I've heard that he might have an extension as well. But we'll assume he stays alongside his manager and Jean-Philippe Teta, with suggestions that he could sign a new deal too. So if Eze, Gay and Wharton go, what fee could they bring in and how could they reinvest it? I think those three will fetch probably over about £170 million. Equally, the Counter Sports YouTube channel is looking to fetch 500 subscribers by the start of next season, so if you enjoyed this video and others like it, then please consider subbing to the channel. This season has been remarkable for Palace after the way they ended the previous year as the best team in the world, in my opinion anyway. Then the expectations put on them to finish in a European place, but having a really poor start to the campaign, and then managing to finish off in maybe the best way possible, beating City to win the FA Cup. And this video isn't looking to put a damper on that, as well as not going into the players leaving for bigger clubs debate. But who could Palace bring in if those players go? Well, starting in defence, Palace will actually need to sign 2 defenders due to the injury of Chadi Riyad. They'll need a backup for him as he's very talented and he's only 21, which means he's still really young. So they could potentially look at someone like Jacob Greaves from Ipswich, who had a decent first season in the Premier League. On the right hand side, personally, I don't think Chris Richards is good enough to take over from Gay. So 2 names stand out to me, but the likeliness of either I'm unsure. Last summer they obviously brought in Trevor Chalobah on loan, but then Chelsea recalled him in January. Chelsea themselves need defensive additions this summer, so potentially Trevor Chalobah could be an option for Palace going into the summer. But if not, then I think Joe Gomez at Liverpool could be another interesting option. Injuries have hampered what should have been a great career, and it's possible this summer will be his last at Liverpool. Naturally, he probably will still think he has the quality to maybe play for a Champions League team, but maybe a move to Palace in the Europa League could be a good move, and especially on the right hand side of that back three, I think it'd work very well under Glasner. In midfield, like I said, I think Adam Wharton could leave this summer too. Liverpool have been linked with him in the past few days, and as they need a player like him, I wouldn't be surprised if the interest was genuine. I think he could command a fee of around 60 to 70 million, which could be reinvested well into the squad. Some names that come to mind could be someone like Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, or maybe even Tyler Morton from Liverpool, although his development has probably stagnated this season. However, both players are effective on the ball, and although not as good as Wharton, they could replicate some of what he can do. They're obviously also not as good as Wharton defensively, but they still have Czech Decore, Will Hughes and Jefferson Lerma. But again, maybe they should actually also look at bringing in a young ball winner, just because Decore can't seem to stay fit either. In attack and onto Eze, I think he'll go. I think he may have wanted to go last season when Olise left, because I think he probably considers that he should be playing Champions League football too. There seems to be rumours Arsenal are interested in, but I wouldn't be surprised if clubs around Europe are looking at him too. I think another player from Liverpool could be of interest to Palace in Harvey Elliott. Seemingly not fancied by Arne Slot, the youngster could occupy the role Eze plays as the attacking midfielder / wide player in Glasner's system. Elliott has quality, but he isn't very physical, and I think that limits what he can do at the top level. But I think he could do a good job in this Palace side in the attacking midfielder role behind Mateta next to Ismail Assar. But the squad does also have Daichi Kamada, who, although had a bit of a slow start to the season, I think he's played quite well, and with Mateus Franca as the backup, maybe they might just decide they don't need to buy that attacking midfielder in the squad. But ultimately, I think the biggest factor going into next season for Palace will be keeping Glasner. Bayern seemed to want him last summer, and I'm sure there could be attractive offers around Europe, but I do hope he stays, and after winning the FA Cup, I think he could. The club should receive a lot of money in the summer without going, so I think next season making a real go at the Europa League should be the aim. The club won't get relegated because I think the squad will still be too good whether they lose players or not. But maybe they could look at some depth options as well, just to make sure that they don't get sucked into a relegation battle. So they could look at players for the right wing back and left wing back spots, as well as Munoz and Mitchell have to do a lot of work in those positions. I think maybe a young striker should be on the agenda as well, but don't worry, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, even though you think I'm already asking a lot, which is probably possible. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet checked out mine and Liam's interview with Matt Jones from the Racecourse Ramble to discuss Wrexham in the Championship, or maybe watch our previous video in the series as I looked at how Newcastle could look next season, check those out here. Coming up on Friday, me, Liam and Kevin has recorded our Team of the Season podcast, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll know when that comes out. In the meantime, thank you for watching and see you soon.